Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG Game Guide Edition. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video I'm going to be breaking down my Infinity Blades build for Wolcen Lords of Mayhem. Now this build has been a lot of fun to use and to create. Right now I can clear 187 with it, and it is very minimal gear. I'll break down everything later, but just wanted to show you that right now I'm using a rare weapon and a rare catalyst. So the gear requirement is not very big for this build. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log into a 187, show you exactly how to use the character, and then I will break down the Gates of Fate and the attribute points and the skills so you will know exactly how to create it. Alright, we are logged in to our 187. Now really quickly I'm going to go through the skills that I use in the order I use them in. You can do it however you want, but this is what I prefer when I play. So we're going to be using Lightbringer first. It kind of is a teleport skill that brings you into the middle of all the baddies. Then Anomaly, then Plague Burst, then TOE, and then bring it all home with Infinity Blades. Infinity Blades being where most of your damage is going to come with. And then Quality of Life, Ether Jump is your actual right click, so you can get out of harm's way, you can move to packs fast. You could switch that out for another skill, which I'll talk about later, but for the most part you want Ether Jump. Now you'll notice that all of these use Wisdom. Now the reason why you can keep your Wisdom up so easily is because in Infinity Blades you have right here, willpower generated by every critical hit, and then every kill regenerates 24 of your willpower. That is how you keep it up. But you'll realize that if you're fighting only one or two enemies, it will start going down slow. So you do want to use Ether Jump to jump from pack to pack so that you get your clear speed really good. And you'll kind of see that as I play. Let me grab this companion. Who did we get? Ooh, a giant cobra. This is going to help for sure. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So, teleport in, Anomaly, Plague Burst, TOE, and then you blade them up. Easy. Okay, watch. Oh, I don't want to fight you. Die, 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 die. See all the packs? They're gone. Gone. It is very fast at clearing packs. Now watch my life. I'm dying. That was 100,000 life. I like this build right at 100,000 life. So its life leech on it is insane. So, done. Very fast. So what it's doing is look at the ailment stacks on that it's hitting on the people. So you're getting maximum stacks and you're getting of every variety. So they're just getting hit with everything all at once.
I need more power.
Oh. Come and get me. Come and get me. Come on, that's the best you got? Come and get me. Look at the damage numbers in the middle. Oh, we've got a vendor up here. You think anything good? No? Come on, come and get me. Too much time. Remember, this is a 187. This is endgame. Agreed. But look at it when you're in the middle of the pack. Look at my wisdom. It's almost not moving. Okay. It's quick. It's very quick. If I was focused, I could probably do it even faster. But look, we're almost 75% done already. Again, 187. Okay, that's the last time I'm going to say that. Alright, so I think you guys get it. Let me log out and I will show you how to recreate this. Let's start with Gates of Fate. Okay, so in order to recreate this build, you need to be level 78. So in Wolcen, you can go to level 90 to recreate this, which can clear 187, 78. Okay? Now to set it up, just as a point of reference, like this is where you'd want Scholar to be, this is where you'd want Warlock to be, and this is where you'd want Time Weaver to be. So first thing you have to do is you have to make sure that your rings are all in the correct spot. Now, I guess that's good. If you wanted to snap a picture of this, go right ahead so you can reference it, because these are all the nodes that are required to recreate this build. Again, 78. Okay, so in Scholar, first thing you want to do is take 60% ailment chance score, attrition strategist, so very important. Then you come up here under Warlock, and you want to get all these spell leech off damage for life. Then come over here and get 200 to maximum willpower and rage. Then come over here and nab 100% spells critical chance score when willpower is above 75%. So that's why I said that you normally don't have to worry about rage, because as long as you're keeping your willpower high, you are going to crit 100% of the time. And then with Infinity Blades, while you're hitting them, you just continue to crit, which then you build your willpower. So this is probably the most important node for the build, and you of course have to have that second skill point, which we'll go over skills in a little bit. But this is how you keep your willpower up. And then you come up here for Anomaly. You're going to be doing double the damage because of status. So under Time Weaver, this is kind of a staple node that every single person gets. And then right here under Dire Junction, you get your damage. It's broken down so you don't get one-shotted. Okay? So once you get these nodes, then you pop off over here and you grab these. Now, if I was level 80, I would grab these two extra just for life. 15% to maximum life, 18% to resistance score, but that's if you're level 80. So in here, all resistance, maximum life, okay? Just to keep yourself alive. Then you come up here and you go under Abyss Shaper and Occult Affliction. Occult damage increased by 5% for every curse stack on the enemy has. So of course, you're literally putting every single ailment and you're putting 5 stacks on those ailments, so you're going to be doing a ton more damage. Then you come over here under Assassin and you grab all these for critical chance score. 18, 18, and then right here, critical damage, 60%. So think about it. If you're critting 100% of the time, that means crit damage is huge for this build. So you want to make sure that your crit damage on this one, your overall damage is going to be less, but since you're going to be critting majority of the time, 60% increased. Also very important. So once you have this stuff all done, then you go back to the center. Under Sentinel, you want to grab Backline Raider, and that's 50% increased speed attack score, and 50% spell casting speed score. Okay? Then you come over here, and then you go into Kabbalist, and in here is all of your ailments. If you've ever built a build for Wolcen, this is pretty much the one that every single person uses. So just make sure you grab all of these nodes. Okay? And then the last one in here, also kind of a staple. This is why they're doing this huge balance in July, because everybody kind of uses the same stuff. And under Siege Breaker, you're going to grab this node, and you are required to have a heavy chest and a heavy helmet, which is going to give you a huge resistance increase, which keeps you alive. So again, if you want to snap a picture of this, go ahead now. But this is what you need to use to recreate this build. Skills and modifiers for skills. So starting with Lightbringer in here, obviously I've spent all 10 on here. When landing, the skills leaves an area of effect, converts sacred damage to ether damage, adds a weakness chance skill to the skill, grants you higher resistance score, and then you generate willpower per enemy hit by the skill. So obviously you always want to continually to generate willpower. Okay, so that's, if you want to snap a picture, Lightbringer. Under Anomaly, the skill Vortex deals damage to enemies that are pulled inside, of course. Converts ether damage to lightning damage. This one's a little rare, but we need something that does lightning with this build. The Vortex pulls people multiple times, and then you could activate more simultaneously, so double the damage. Anomaly. Plague Burst. Increase area of effect. Ailment damage. Whenever an enemy is killed with the skill, they leave behind the toxic damage. This is the most important one. It's those green clouds you see while I am playing. Increases the damage dealt by the explosion of other enemies. Chance to summon little monsters. You'll have 5 little rats running around with you for most of the game. And then the skill's area effect explodes. There's a chance for enemies to become frenzied. Plague Burst. Okay. TOE. So in here, willpower cost reduction. You want to convert this to fire. This is where you are going to get your fire damage. Ailment chance score. So on here, you want it to be damage over time, so it continues to affect them with different ailments. And then on here, increase the radius. Okay. TOE. Okay. Infinity Blades. So I'm going to talk about that one last. This is the most important skill modifier for this build. If you do not grab this, it will not work. Every time you crit, you generate willpower. If you did not take this, you would literally be out so fast. So, well, I guess I'll show you in a second, okay? So, gotta have this. Converts ether damage to shadow damage. Increases the damage dealt by this skill for every ailment stack the enemy has. So think about that for a second. They have every ailment with 5 stacks, okay? And then on top of that, this is going to be doing more per stack. So again, where you get a ton of the damage. Inflicts a debuff on enemies when hit with this skill that increases the damage they receive from spells. And then when cast, this skill grants a buff to the damage nearby enemies deal with the base damage type of this skill, which would be Shadow. Now on here, you get to pick. So this is like your extra point. And what I would say is that out of all of these, you can either take a base 10% increased damage, or to keep your willpower up, an extra 24. I've never really struggled with damage, so I always take the extra willpower as quality of life. Now on here, this is pretty much the ether jump setup. Willpower cost reduction, decrease cooldown, willpower cost reduction, removes crowd effects, and then after you cast it, you run faster. It's pretty much how everybody sets up ether jump, okay? Now this is what I'm going to show you, all right? So, I'm not hitting any enemies right now, right? I'm out. I got no willpower. Okay. Earlier in the game, before I had everything done, this would drive me crazy all the time. So what I would have to do is I would have to use pots in order to increase my willpower. Okay. So before I got better with this build, I actually didn't use ether jump. Look. Froze it. So on here, what I did is I used Havoc Orb. Okay. It's also really, really fun. So what I would do is, and this is how I set up Havoc Orb, if you just want to see it, radius, weapon damage, turn it into missiles, turn it into rend, so it's damage over time, so it matches the rest of the build. Critical damage, weapon damage, ailment damage. Okay? So on here, anytime I was dealing with needing willpower again, I would shoot rockets.
I need more power.
The rockets would use the rage, which would then give you your willpower back. And the rockets do a ton of damage. And it's fun. So, that's just a little thing. Like, I mean, I do think that that is secondary now. Normally I don't have to worry about rage and willpower anymore. But when I was initially building this, it drove me crazy that I would continuously run out of willpower. So I would use Havoc Orb. It works really well if you're just trying to just balance the bar back and forth. Okay, those are the skills. So attribute points for this character. Now this is one where it's actually not straightforward. You don't need any ferocity and you don't need any wisdom. So in here you will need toughness and agility. This is one of the only builds I've seen where if you want, you could run straight agility. So on here, your catalyst and your weapon are going to have life leech, and through your gates of fate, you also have life leech from spell damage. So yeah, it bounces, but for the most part, as long as you are attacking and hitting somebody, your life isn't really going to move. It's when you're trying to use different skills and you get caught up and then, you know, you die. So in here, kind of what I always think is I like having 100,000 health. That's normally where that's kind of like I feel like is the good spot, the sweet spot for life. Now you could take less and put it all into agility. So what I did is I did, you know, 60-70% of it into agility and then the rest into toughness. So it also depends on your gear a little bit, but you could run all toughness, but then you're going to swing slower. And then when you're swinging slower, you're not going to be hitting as many people, so you're going to take a hit to your damage and take a hit to your life leech. Whereas agility, you're going to be hitting fast, you're going to be doing more damage, you're going to be leeching more life. You know, for me, the 100,000 is good too from getting like 1 shot or 2 shots. So that's kind of up to you. You can go all toughness if you wanted, you can go all agility, or you can do a split. I prefer a split. That is on you. What people struggle with the most in Wolcen: gear. Now, I do have to say, one of the reasons why this game has struggled is because gear actually isn't that important in this game. Now obviously you have to have some good end game gear, but for the most part I can probably find good rares, like every single item yellow, and probably clear a 187 still. So anyways, on here, a couple things that you need. You need lots of transfer time decrease, okay? That is very, very important. So for your rings, amulet, and belt, make sure you have the 25% decrease time jewel or gem put in, okay? On here as well, I really enjoy life, so as long as you could roll it correctly, 1,000 to life, 1,000 to life, 1,000 to life. You can't get life, use block chance. Same thing with your catalyst, 1,000 to life, 25% block chance. And then on your weapon, you want spell damage, always spell damage, and on here, sacred or ether, so I just did a little bit of each. Now, on your items, okay, your gear, you want flat spell damage when you can get it, so like on my catalyst, like flat spell damage, flat spell damage. On my amulet, spell. On my ring, spell. This one, spell. Okay? This one doesn't have any spell damage, but it's a lot to life and critical damage. Now on your items, you want to look for resistance and cooldown on a few items. So on here, I have cooldown on my helmet and transfer time. And on my armor, or heavy chest, I have cooldown and transfer time as well. Now the reason why you want to keep cooldown on at least 2 items, it's so that every pack you can cast Anomaly, which you will need over and over again to get them all together. And then also it gives you huge damage increases. So as far as that, a couple items that have cooldown, as much transfer time as you can get, and then resistances. So like shoulders, 87% to all resistance. Gloves, 169 to all resistance on the item. 175 to all resistance, 79% to all resistance. And you just want to get as much resistance as you can. 199 to all resistance, 55% to all resistance. So again, gear isn't that huge. A lot of this gear is interchangeable with multiple characters that I run, and again, a rare weapon and a rare catalyst will work just fine. So I'll go through it really quick. We just want to take a look so you can see the gear that I use for this build. And it's really not that good. Okay, gear. And that's the build. You have seen it all. You've seen the Gates of Fate. You have seen the attribute points. You have seen the gear that I use, and you have seen the skills that I use. You've also seen gameplay. Again, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, cut. And then when you're in harm's way, roll, dash. That's it. Like, very easy, very fun. You want to continually move. You want to make sure you're hitting multiple packs of enemies at a time. If it's ever 1 or 2 people, move on to the next one, because this does better when you are in a group of individuals fighting. But that is pretty much everything. I'm very, very curious what you think if you have tried this build style for Infinity Blades. It's like you got lightsabers on your hands. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. You could also join the official Action RPG Discord, and we can talk one-on-one, and I can try and help you through it if you have any questions. But that's it for today. Infinity Blades build, Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem. You can clear a 187. Stay home, stay safe, join the Discord. Aaron